Father Gary, follow him, it's near impossible. He's a wonderful man. He really is. I look up to him in Belfast. He's a person in a private capacity I can go to and get support, talk to, in the course of the work that I do. There's a funny story about him. Last year, there was an event in the Europa Hotel. Martin Mueller had organised this, as he often does, who's another great citizen of Belfast and a great friend and a frequent visitor to these shores. But Martin had introduced Father Gary as a Redemptorist priest, working in Holy Cross in North Belfast. And of course, Martin give all the accolades, and when Father Gary came up, and he is a great orator, and he is funny, he says, "I want to note something, Martin." He says, "You introduced me as a Redemptorist priest. I am a Passionist from the Holy Cross. It's akin to me introducing you as a member of the DUP when you're a member of Sinn Féin." And that's stuck with me, and it's been so funny. And, it's a later moment in what I've talked about. But I'm here, mandated by several hundred families. I'm the CEO of Relatives for Justice. We're a proud organisation. We're very humbled and privileged to work with so many families that have lost loved ones in such terrible, terrible circumstances. Now, in the early 1990s, following the murder of my brother, and as Martin says, we founded the organisation Relatives for Justice. It was no coincidence that the people who founded that organisation were the practice law partner of Pat Finucane, Peter Madden, Monsignor Raymond Murray, who had documented the Hooded Men case, who had worked in Armagh jail when the women were being brutalised in there and when the protests were on, and who had documented many killings and many arrests and detentions and tortures throughout the years. Claire O'Reilly, a nurse and a local person who just happened to have a phone, and whose several brothers, including her 15-year-old brother, had been interned without trial, leaving the family just with the girls in the house. So she had a young family too. And so people in the district who were having their sons and daughters picked up and taken away by the British authorities and maybe held for 2 and 3 days with no way of finding out where they were, came to Claire's house. So Claire contacted Father Murray after a while, and the Association for Legal Justice was born in the 1970s. They gave Pat Finucane, the lawyer, his first start and the cases. And so by 1991, April 91, Relatives for Justice, the nucleus of that group from the 70s, helped form Relatives for Justice. So we marched in the early 1990s in terms of peace. Peace demands a number of things. It demands justice and equality. So just for people, and I talk oftentimes with a bit of assumed knowledge, today what's happening in the North is that the power-sharing executive, the mechanisms that govern the North post the Good Friday Accord, where there's supposed to be equality and justice, where there's supposed to be a transparency, and where there's supposed to be the delivery of rights and entitlements that are enshrined in any functioning democracy, have not been delivered. Sinn Féin kept that executive afloat for about a decade, based on a promise that they'd be delivered at some point. And I think that became untenable and unsustainable, and the late Mark McGuinness rightly brought down the Assembly in the context of what the straw that broke the camel's back was, the RHI, the renewable heating incentive scandal, the financial scandal, where there was fraud by unionist politicians. It wasn't the first example. There'd been 2 previous major issues around NAMA and around the contracting of a company around social housing to the benefit of the DUP. So we had an election, and it was a very important election, and Sinn Féin received a huge mandate, and much of that mandate is based around a rights-based society. So it's linguistic rights, Irish language rights, Act na Gaeilge. It's about a Bill of Rights, it's about equal marriage, and importantly, it's about dealing with the legacy of the past. It's about the right to truth, the right to justice, the right to transparency, the right to accountability that's being denied. Now, the British don't want to deal with this, and neither do the Unionists. Because they don't want to deal with it is because they want the truth to expose their role in our country and what they were up to.